Nigeria's hope of experiencing socio-economic transformation rests in its vibrant youthful population. Understanding this, the Eden Christian Center's ministries hosted its annual Upgrade 2016 conference, focusing on the theme Connecting the Dots. It was an opportunity for notable Nigerian professionals and business leaders who have excelled in their endeavors to encourage, challenge, and inspire young Nigerians who are eager to make impact in the country. In the midst of the challenging economic space, the keynote speakers and panelists had clear words of advice for the Nigerian youth.
Being aware of your environment is the first thing that you have to take note of. So what, the where, what is your time and what is your time now and what is your space like right now? And what are the needs of that time and space right now? Now, having defined what my needs were as a young mother, I went down to look into the market to see what was available. And from there, I realized that, you know what? I can actually make these pajamas and sell them. So I made like 50 pairs of pajamas and put them in the boot of my car. And every morning when I dropped my children in school, this is true. Every morning when I dropped my children in school, I stood outside the school gate, play school, and I would talk to all the mothers coming out of school and say, would you like pajamas? Would you like to see my pajamas? They're really very nice. Like 750 naira, loose change. Then. And some of them would be interested. They would want to look at it. They would want to see it. They'd be awed by the fact it was made in Nigeria. Some of them would say it was made in Nigeria and therefore they were not touching it. As if they themselves were not made in Nigeria. And these are things that we have to take out of our psyche. We must have pride in what we do. We must have pride. We must have pride in our country, as battered as it is. We must speak positively about our country, as battered as it appears. Because we forget there are many countries that have been where we've been. So many, and they came out of it. The charge to your generation is to take Nigeria out of where it is. Change the dynamics. You can. If you have the will, you will. You can. But you can't be defined by money. You must be defined by greater things than money.
Nike said something that you have to start. You must have a beginning. You need to know where you start from. If you don't know your beginning, if you don't know where you start, if you don't know who you are, then your dots through life and your journey through life will be a total mess. A total mess. You need, if you're going to connect the dots of your life, these experiences, these journeys and all of that, you need to start at number one. The next thing, you are the one now that you must take that step. So you have the dots. The dots, that picture of dots that we don't know what it is the story of our lives. Our life is full of all of these dots that interconnect all through. It's a journey. Each number represents a position, something that you must get to, a place, a destination along this journey of life that you must get to. If you stop at that number, your life is not complete. And once you've gotten from this point to that point, the line is just a journey, what you go through every day. But once you get to that next number, if you choose to stay at that number and you don't move to the next number, your life will never be complete. That picture will never be complete. You will not get to that destination.
There is what you call purpose, there's what you call potential, and what you call positioning. The three will often work well for you if you have the right fundamentals in terms of your value base, maybe your upbringing at home, and how it has prepared you through your fundamental state. Because there are certain things you can't teach people. It has to be innate in them. People can give you wisdom nuggets, 5 things to learn, 6 things to learn. They've been writing those books for so long. It hasn't altered much. But here's one thing to learn. If you learn the principle of hard work and being smart and learning to daily understand that value is created through an incremental process, you would understand that you will not get there overnight. It's an incremental process where you have to go through. The principle of connecting the dots is about incremental stages of life. This generation of Nigerians, or perhaps with all due respect, has not learned the concept of deferred gratification. A principle which our parents taught us very, very early in life. take it easy. It is incremental that you grow. But you build yourself so strong that every little experience would aid your life. In my own case, every time I was in university, for some reason, my father always got me a vacation job. So by the time I've left secondary school up to university, I probably worked about 6 years. So I had understood office culture. And by the way, I was doing not any serious job, maybe T-boy, clerk, or some funny thing. Not some shirt and tie things that you do. But by the time I learned through all these things, my first fundamental job was I could clean. And yet I was already a fellow. But you must learn that you do not want to be judged by appearance, looking so nice and everything, that you're ready to do the nitty-gritty work.
My advice to this generation, the youth especially, is that they're not used to delayed gratification. So getting into the agricultural sector takes a measure of time. I would advise that the young generation should not look into production that much, but they should focus more on the services and the value addition on a small scale, nothing big. It's easier to manage businesses when they are smaller. So production is not really meant for the average youth in the urban center, except the youth is wired for it. Production is mostly meant for the rural communities. They stay there, they leverage better, their overheads is lower, their taste of life. They don't use telephone, they don't use data as much as the urban youth. So let the urban youth focus on marketing, processing, value addition, agri photography, which is a very huge market. So I would advise that the youth today leverage on IT. Marketing, value addition is key for them. But there's no better time for the youth to step into the agriculture than now.
You need, at this point in time, most importantly, to know exactly what you're doing. Because we're in a period of change. But guess what? Change also brings opportunities. It's a difficult time, but it means that you can narrow your focus. You can identify what is needed most in this time and drive it. So you must have a vision. You must have a purpose. What's purpose at the end of the day? That which you have been called to do, that you need to do, and you need to drive that. So, young Nigerians, it's the time for you to drive your vision. Just hold on to it and drive it through at this point in time.
I think what I would say to young people is we should not just be looking at the problems only and focus. In fact, if you focus too much on problems, they tend to become bigger than they are. We should be looking for solutions. And usually you find that when you look for solutions, you create value. When you create value, you attract wealth. So we can complain about government, we can complain about our parents, we can complain about societies, but those things don't make the problems go away. We should start looking as young people, and I believe that the future of Nigeria truly lies in our young people. I know the environment is tough, the economic situation is difficult, but even in the midst of that, there's still a lot of possibilities. So we just need to open our eyes and think about what is possible.
It's up to you. It's the power of your personal choice to see this time in Nigeria as a difficult time or to see it as a time of opportunity, a time when I can look around, what is missing? Where can I fill a gap? Where can I add value? If I'm adding value, how can I make it better? How can I make my own environment better? What can I do personally to make my environment better?
Despite the socio-economic issues that abound in the nation, the young professionals have an opportunity to translate the deep, clear, and insightful key points from the discussions at the Upgrade 2016 conference to action, and Nigeria will be better for it.